Hey, what's up, team? It's Sherman here from Geek Psychology. This video is on introversion, extroversion, and a little bit of ambiversion. So I'm going to hopefully be clearing some of that misinformation up because, like, really, if you don't understand the core concepts of introversion and extroversion and some of the actual behaviors that come out from it, you're going to misjudge yourself and other people. And like it causes confusion. If you go into life thinking that you are an ENFP, but really you're an INFP, you're going to wonder why you act strangely, why you act differently than you are supposed to be acting. And there are tons of other factors that go into it as well, but even just that is enough to be like, this is strange. Something doesn't really fit about this. And then you're going to be harder on yourself, and you're also going to be putting yourself into situations that aren't really helpful. They're not healthy, they're not charging you up or anything like that. And same for the opposite of it. Through knowing if you are actually an introvert or an extrovert as your leading voice, your dominant function, then this is going to help you find ways to put yourself into the right attitude and the right position that you need to be in order to recharge yourself. So let's talk a little bit about introversion and extroversion before this room freezes and I start shaking. So, introversion, extroversion, it's the direction that you focus your mental energy. So you could think of like sensing. There's an externalized version of sensing, which is the tangible real world around you, what you can like verify and touch. And then there is the internalized introverted version of sensing, which is taking all that and like consolidating it into static facts and historical details and memory snapshot type stuff. So there are two different realms of all of those. Let's in this video just talk generally about introversion and extroversion. And one more thing, ambiversion. So we're all, I suppose, ambiverts if you want to think about it like that. I really don't like the word because it's a misunderstanding of what is going on. But you need both introversion and extroversion in order to be a full human being, in order to exist like all of us do in the world. If you were only extroverted, you would never have any sense of who you are and your past experiences and your own thoughts and ideas and feelings. None of that would exist. So, because it would just be determined by the objective outer world. If you only had introversion, you wouldn't have any way of existing or like interacting with the outer world, the objective world, because you would just be inside this shell and that's it. And so you need both of those to be a full human being and to interact properly with whatever life throws at you. But there's one that you prefer, one voice that you prefer to listen to. And so let's talk a little bit about those. And after that, I will hopefully give a couple questions for you to use to check, I suppose, to see which one you are. Extroverts and extroverted functions exist outside of the subjective self. For sensing, it's that outer realm of things that you can touch, feel, taste, smell, whatever. Even ideas can be brought outside of you and connected to other things and connected to other people's ideas and things like that as well. So that's one thing. The introverted side is going to be what is going on inside you. Think about it. If you're outside tanning, you want to lay down, you want to get a tan. The sun is what is that sensory experience, and then the cancer created inside, and maybe even the self-esteem created inside, is the introverted realm of things. So you can see the extroverted side is what is going on outside of you, outside of yourself, and introverted is what's going on inside. That's a pretty bad example, but here we are. And also, extroverts and extroverted functions are likely to be more proactive, more quick reacting. They're going to take action. I think of them as like the offensive classes in an RPG. It's the ones that are actually making quick choices, doing things, pushing the envelope, making changes in the outer world, whatever it is, interacting with the outer world. Whereas the introverted side of those are the ones that are going to look at it and be like, okay, I need to compare this to how I felt about it before, or my personal understanding of how things are, the technical understanding of it, like what is this model, this framework, um, these definitions, these categories, things like that. So that is an internalized understanding of it. That's what the defensive style, the introverts, are going to be looking at. And then eventually that's going to have to be brought out into the extroverted world. So you see how, they're both interacting back and forth. Also, extroverts are going to likely be more verbal, more outspoken, have kind of more ups and downs in their tonality and things like that. But this is a behavior, right? Because of that, it's not always going to be true, but it's likely because it's coming from the cognitive functions themselves working. And the introvert is going to likely speak with a softer voice, more withdrawn, more held, quieter gestures instead of like the big extroverted like thunderclap and things like that. But once again, that is a behavior. Those are behaviors that come out of many, many experiences and things. So you have to be careful with that, because that's where a lot of the misinformation comes from. And that's why you get those ideas of like introverts just read books all day and suck at any social interaction, and then extroverts are exuberant and like all over the place and bouncing around, and they have no inner sense of what is going on. And that's bull crap, baloney. So be careful with that. The cognitive functions, as well as the behaviors that come out of extroversion and introversion, for example, extroverts are going to be like turning the dial up on a lot of things, trying to get more and more feedback, more experiences, more interactions from the outer world. That is the realm that extroverts live in, and that's the realm that the functions live in as well for extroverted functions. Introverted functions are likely going to be like dialing it back a little bit, because they need to take time to process the information and see how it fits with their personalized understanding of things, their past experiences. And so you see how like it's going to drain a lot of introverts if that's their dominant function's introverted function. It's going to drain them because they need to constantly look at things and be like, why is this different than how I know it to be? And constantly like reconciling that and trying to figure it out. Whereas extroverts are going to pick up more information, get more feedback from the outer world, and that is how they're understanding the world, and they're going to merge with that experience instead of like cut it off and try to filter it back into their personalized subjective understanding. I hope that makes sense. I think that's enough. I'm starting to shake as well. So let's talk briefly about how you can use this information. So one of the easiest questions that you need to still dig into, but is to think about like, how much time do you need by yourself? Like I said, you need to think about it. You need to clarify some of the things, but an extrovert is going to generally need less time by themselves. And they might say, I need time. I need a lot of time by myself. And then you ask and they're like, well, yeah, 5 minutes, 20 minutes is enough, and then I'm okay. But an introvert is generally going to need to take longer breaks in order to process that information and to filter it and stuff. If, as an introvert, I'm just saying right here, this might clarify some things. If I am around too many people for too long, I feel that I'm losing control. I start to get really stressed out. I take many breaks. I'll go to the bathroom and this is kind of weird, but I'll go to the bathroom and just be in the bathroom for a little while and deal with all these different ideas and piece things together to refresh and recharge and get back into a state that you understand the world. And extroverts are likely going to need less time to do that because they're getting new information from experiencing things and from interacting with things outside of themselves. If you spend too much time stuck in your house, you're not talking to anybody, you're not able to really like mess with the outer world and deal with anything around you. You're not able to bounce ideas off of people. You're not able to, I don't know, complete tasks. Like you got this big shopping list and you can't do that or whatever. You can't just bond and relate to people. That might be something. You can't go to the gym. That might be something that is exhausting for you. You know, if you're just stuck like that and you're like, I'm just gonna, I guess, read for 3 days, that's probably going to be exhausting. And going out, doing something, interacting with the world in some way is how those extroverted functions are in their element and kind of recharge, and thus that's how the dominant functions as well will recharge you. I hope that all made sense. I hope it was clear. And if it wasn't, please let me know. Also, if you've had any experiences that clarified whether you are an introvert or an extrovert that maybe you didn't know for a while and you were kind of living in the wrong realm, then please let me know down below, because if it helped you, it's going to help somebody else as well. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for being on this journey of personal growth, because it's, you know, if you are able to get into a better position in your life, you're going to help somebody else out too. And that's why I'm here. That's why a lot of us are here. So keep working on that. Thank you very much, patrons, as well. Good luck, have fun. Peace.